So the San Fernando Mission, it has, when I entered the mission field, it included 4 valleys. So the San Fernando Valley, the Santa Clarita Valley, that's where Six Flags is, if anyone's ever been to Six Flags. Then the Antelope Valley, and then after the Antelope Valley was the Owens Valley. And that made up the San Fernando Mission. And it went from Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles all the way up to Mammoth Lakes. So it was like a 6.5-hour drive. So it was a really, really big mission. But maybe 5 months into my mission, it split. And so it just depended on where you were in the mission. When the split day came, depending on what mission you were in. So if you were in the Antelope Valley or the Owens Valley, you joined with part of the Bakersfield mission. And then the Santa Clarita Valley and the San Fernando Valley became the new San Fernando, California mission. The church is really, really, really strong in the Santa Clarita Valley. It's kind of like Utah. It's kind of scary. A lot of people there, so it is considered LA County. And so a lot of people there, they work in LA as accountants, as a lot of things. And a lot of them graduated from BYU. And so it's really interesting there. There's tons of members. Everyone there knows a member, has family that's a member, has had the missionaries knock on their door several times. And the mainly Christian, I would say. There's a lot of Christians in the San Fernando Valley. In the Santa Clarita Valley. But in the San Fernando Valley, it's kind of a different story. So there's 3 English stakes and 1 Spanish stake. That covers those 3 English stakes. And it's mainly Catholic. Around the valley is the hills. And they're kind of a more ritzy area. There's a lot of celebrities that live there. It also includes Burbank. My companion, he's like, one time while we were driving in our area, and he's like, "It's Pharrell Williams! It's Pharrell Williams!" And I'm like, "Who's Pharrell Williams?" And he's like, the Happy song. And I'm like, I was on my mission when it came out. I was like, I had no idea who that was. And so we flipped around. I made a U-turn, because in California, you always have to make U-turns. If you didn't make a U-turn while you drive, you didn't drive correctly. So I flipped a U-turn, and we were trying to find Pharrell Williams, and he had his entourage, and my companion was freaking out. It was in the hills in Encino, and he thought it was the coolest thing. I didn't think it was that cool. But that was my only experience. We have in the Santa Clarita, in the Valencia ward, in the Valencia stake, there's Kirby Hayborn. He lives there. He's a celebrity to all of us. We all know him. So I think that's pretty cool. So there's Korean, English, American Sign Language, and Spanish. So those are the 4 main languages in our mission. And there's, of course, a whole bunch of other languages that people speak. But in the San Fernando Valley, it's mainly Catholic. There's a lot of Hispanic and Latinos over there in that area. And so it's really interesting because, we don't really teach them because, we speak English or a different language. And so I know the Spanish missionaries have a lot of trouble getting their investigators to church. That's a really, really big problem for them. And for English missionaries, for the missionaries who spoke English, we had a lot of trouble getting members to come to our lessons. It was a little hard. Sometimes it's our fault because we don't plan correctly. But just trying to find that balance of working with the ward to be able to help your investigators progress and to reach the waters of baptism was always a challenge. I think no matter what ward you're in, probably no matter what mission you're in, always trying to find out how members can help you and how you can help the members, help bring others into Christ. Talking to everyone, that's the only thing you need to do. Not the only thing you need to do, but the main thing you need to do. Whether you're working with members or whether you're attracting and you're looking for people to teach or going through referrals, the Lord puts people on your path. And it might be the gardener that's outside the door you're knocking on. And it might be the mailman that's putting the mail in 2 houses down from where you intended to knock. But the Lord puts people in your path. And if you talk to everyone, you have the Lord's trust. He will send the people that needs Him, that needs you at that time when you're there. There's not only one person ready for baptism in your area. There's a lot of people that are ready. And just you need to know the will of the Lord. You need to pray. You need to plan correctly to be where the Lord needs you to be so you can talk to the right people. So I served in the Armagosa YSA ward alongside the Lancaster ward. And then our area split, and I just served in the Armagosa YSA ward. So I served in the Newhall 2nd ward. And then, okay, so I served a long time in this stake in my mission. So I served in the Newhall 2nd ward, which is in the Valencia stake. And then I served in the Stevenson Ranch ward, which was also in the Valencia stake. And then the whole areas changed in our stake boundaries. And for a story later on. But after I served in the Stevenson Ranch ward, I served in, the ward had Calabasas in it, the ridge part of Malibu, and all the ward members must be looking at this and being like, "Oh, Chandler, how could you forget us?" So Woodland Hills was where I served. I served there for 6 months. I love that. I love that place. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. After I served in Woodland Hills, I served in Encino for 6 weeks, and that's where we saw Pharrell Williams. My companion was so excited. After I served in Encino, I got sent back to the Valencia stake in the Santa Clarita Valley, and I served in the Wiley Canyon ward. And the Wiley Canyon ward used to be the Newhall 1st ward, but the name changed and it got reorganized just a little bit. And I spent 3 transfers there. And then after my time in Wiley Canyon, I finished my mission off in the Van Nuys 1st ward. There's only one English Van Nuys 1st ward, but it was a big difference for me to go from like Utah to like the middle of the valley. It was a crazy experience. But I loved it. I spent my last 2 transfers there. I was English speaking, but I learned how to sign on my mission because there's just so many deaf people. And so in my first area, there was a little deaf group in my young single adult group. There was a deaf people, and so we would interpret for them. And I had a lot of like international companions. So I had a lot of Korean companions and companions that were assigned Spanish, and companions that were assigned, that was it. Korean companions and international companions. I had a companion from Mexico. And so I had a lot of time to study on my mission. And so I just chose a language to study, and I studied ASL because our mission already had all the tools for it. So I learned how to sign. Okay, I think I'm fine. I'm pretty good. I can interpret sacrament meeting at least.